Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the day, the video diary. How's it going today? Today it is the mid-evening time. I'm about to start diving into some programming because she's on her way back at some point, just not yet. So I'm going to get a little bit of programming done before she gets back and before we do dinner and stuff. I'm staying in my work clothes because it's Thursday, so it doesn't matter. It's dress down Friday tomorrow. And also, well, not that I wear the same work clothes day on day, but also we're going to the gym later. And if we're still in work clothes, well, we're hopefully going to the gym later. If we're still in work clothes, we might be more likely to go. Whereas if you get dressed into something more comfortable, then it's more of an effort getting dressed into your gym outfit. That's my logic there. Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going today? Today, we have had a pretty good day. We are currently during a sprint at work and they've run out of tasks to do. So I've been doing the thing that I was doing a while ago, which is going through the cyclomatic complexity thing I was reducing and basically slowly going through all the code review changes and stuff. I need to clean your lens, sorry. So that's what I've been doing. I've also been going through code reviews and stuff. Although there are two things that bemuse me. Oh no, actually, I think I found a really interesting bug. I found it at the very end, where like, I'm going through removing the option to set this thing on a certain level, because it's now at a different level. Originally I allowed it to be backward compatible, and then I thought that it was only being used basically for the tests, and it's something that's set in configuration, and you can just change it in the configuration if you really want to change it in the configuration, rather than like setting it at runtime permanently and all that kind of shit. So, and then resetting it back as well because you don't want it to be. There's a load of cases where there are tests. The main things that use this thing are tests. Or there's one migration runner, which I found at the very end. And what they do is they pull it out of Spring, set the values to true, and then set the values to false at the end as if they were false. They don't actually check if they were false or not. They just permanently set it back to false for anything else that's running at that moment in time. But anyway, I found an error where in the configuration file that it's reading it from, the bit where it says this value equals true, it has the E missing off the end of it. And I think that means it's setting it to false. So maybe these setters only exist because people are trying to set it to true because the configuration file is misspelling true. I think that might be the case. Because I've never seen anyone actually actively set this thing to false. I only see them set it to true. It's weird. So anyway, yeah, there's that. And also, there's a number of questions here. There is one place where it's being used in actual production code. Well, it's not really production code, it's migration runner. It pulls it out of Spring, pulls the singleton out of Spring, sets the values to true, and then runs. Would you, for this, in one specific case, create an entire new Spring context and overload it? So instead of pulling it out of Spring, changing it, and then changing it back, would you instead pull it out of Spring from a separate source where the configuration is different because it has its own configuration because that's what it is? That's what I'd do. The whole idea of a configuration file was that you could change it based on what configuration you need. Not, oh well, it's in there, I'll edit it on the fly and then reset it back. But it's like a single like command line runner thing essentially that runs it, changes this thing and then puts it back. I don't understand, man. I don't understand it. But I found that in like literally the last 5 minutes. So the other two things I wanted to talk about were I was doing some code reviews today, and I was doing a code review which was more or less a merge. Someone's merged something from one branch to the main branch, and then from the main branch down. And I was code reviewing the down because there's some changes that have been made. And I've rejected it because I don't think it's well enough tested. I said like, well, not rejected it, I said needs work on it. And then opened it up for another code review because there's like this part of it that is doing something weird. Which looks quite hacky, but it's not very it's not tested. So if you looked at it, you'd be like, why is this getting done? And then you'd get rid of it. So I've like rejected it for the first time. I've never put a code review to needs work. Is that true? Yeah, that is true. So yeah, and then I've had two Two things, because when I was going through this code review, two different things came up. Firstly, I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but I don't understand the people who, I guess it's the same kind of people who say these two different things. Firstly, that would say, nothing, who will joke with you about how, I'm just changing this file, guess how many tests it's got? 0, lol. And then also never write tests themselves. Or complain about how badly designed the legacy code is, and then justify a design decision they've made with, that's how the rest of the code works. Literally in the second breath. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Basically saying there is, yes, you agree with me that this is a bad design decision, but everything else does it like that, so I can't be bothered. Oh, it drives me crazy. So, I don't know whether, like, I'm less lazy than other people, or I get stuck up on things like this that don't really matter. I don't know if I'm a bit too pedantic or what, but either way, it irritates me. In fact, do I want to drink? I think I do want to drink, but I've got a glass in here. Let's get this glass and then go get myself a little cheeky bev. So yes, that's that. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, I've been working on changing my test runner so that it works better. Is my plan. That's besides my minute time. I say better, so that it works. I'm moving away from the idea of developing my own internal test runner that works using reflection, and/or by plugging into utility things within a specific test runner, and instead, so instead of hooking into like the XUnit assembly stuff, I am instead hooking into the .NET test runner instead, which by hooking into I mean like interfacing with it in the command line, because basically like I think I need too much power to do what I want to do. I need too much stuff, and I'm basically reinventing the wheel to do it when this is the way around it. The only problem with this is when an infinite loop happens, I have to kill it. Deciding when to kill it is problematic, because when I was running each test class individually, let's say all of the tests take 10 seconds to run, all of them combined, each individual test class would take like half a second or something like that, but they all run in parallel, so it doesn't matter. If one of them went over by double, say if one of them took a second instead of half a second, then I could kill it when it's at a second and go, this is infinite looping, it's taken too long, it's taken way longer than I expected, time this one out, I still get the test results for everything else, carry on. Whereas, with this new way, I won't get test results because they're not displayed as the tests failed. I think that's true. I won't get test results because they're not displayed as they fail. And also, if I'm sat there and this entire test process normally takes 10 seconds, how long do I wait before I kill it and say it's an infinite loop? 11 seconds? Do I wait a second? Is that too close? Do I double it and go to 20 seconds? I don't know, that's a significant time difference compared to the previous one, which causes problems when you're running as many tests as I'm intending to run. So that's the problem that I'm fighting with. And yeah, the problem becomes when you say the test run takes any decent amount of time. Like, what percentage over do you go? Do you go over by like 50%? I was thinking about doing like my 50% and then average down the time so that it would go, start off with a timeout of like 5 minutes. It's unlikely you're going to send tests that infinite loop on the first run. So if anything, we don't have a timeout at all. And then we start taking averages. So we have 5 minutes plus 30 seconds, new average is like 2.5, and then goes faster and faster and faster until you get like a average, and then you just go like plus or minus 50% on a small number rather than... But then again, what if that small number isn't actually that small? What if that small number is 30 minutes, for example? I don't know, man. So this is the problem I'm trying to solve, but I don't need to solve it yet. I am forging through, making my objects and stuff, getting it all nice and fancy. Thankfully, the way I developed the compiler, which uses the .NET compiler, is built so that essentially I just need to overload a couple of classes, and half of this is already written for me. So I'm just doing that, basically. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a whale of a time. It's nice writing code again. I've basically just been debugging it for ages. So I'm enjoying myself very much. Laura's just messaged me saying that it's not looking hopeful for buses. She left work late because she was helping someone. It's like their last day before Christmas. But it's not looking great for buses, which will go around this loop thing here. And the M32 is solid red all the way down, boys. Been telling me is that the later we eat, the more precarious Jim gets, but the more programming I get done. So I'm just churning away code. 7 o'clock now. Laura is like close enough for me to be imminently putting on the rice for dinner because we have Thai curry. But it's 7 o'clock, so like by the time we've eaten, it's gone down. 8:30, we might have eaten by, we might be able to go to the gym. We'll see. Rather annoyingly, it closes at like 10, it's not like a 24-hour one. So, like, we don't really want to go any later than 8:30.
All my money into my business and risk everything I've got to build up this company and be a success.
I mean, my business plan is absolutely I'm
a big cutie.
That actually has the platform to build a big business. You are a one-man band. She employs 4 people.
Gets very close to biting me with a big fuck off teeth, Graham. It's lovely to do, Graham. Big carrot. Hey, hey. And then look, she decides just to shove the entire thing in her mouth. Come on, Graham. That's not going to work, is it, love? Graham, spit it out. Chew it a bit more, then do that. Wait, was I right? Alana's through. Cake girl. Next. Graham, we wanted you to chew it so that then we could still have you out for a bit. But now look, you've just got a big fucking carrot sticking out your mouth, you gremlin. I keep seeing videos of like hamsters like sitting all cute with a little thing just being like nibbling on it, all cute. And I think we've got a defective hamster. Because all she does is just ram stuff in her mouth and then like she doesn't sit still and let you stroke her and look cute. God damn it, Graham. But either way, that's that, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, we didn't go to the gym. We're not doing very well at going to the gym in the week. Due to either like not being... Well, today it was because... on Tuesday it was because... I didn't feel very well, and was that Tuesday? Can't remember. And Laura wasn't up for it either. And then today it was a case of like we just didn't have time because we'd end up getting there and it'd be too late and all that kind of stuff. There's not really much point doing it, so we decided to then like sort some other stuff out instead. Laura started sorting out some things, and then rung her mum, and then we watched TV for a bit because it was The Apprentice, as you may have heard. Otherwise, Laura went to bed at about, well, went to sleep at about 10:10. I pushed her off into bed at about 11, and then I have been programming. I've got tests running. I'm not passing back the results in any meaningful way yet. That's what I'm going to be working on tomorrow. I also know how I'm going to kill it. I just haven't got the infrastructure to kill it yet. It's quite difficult to test as well. I may throw in like an infinite loop and try it out, but I believe basically I can do like a dot wait with a timeout, and then it will be like, I wonder if... I need to read up on the documentation. I think if I do dot wait and pass it a timeout instead of an asynchronous await with the keyword, it will wait for that amount of time. If it hasn't returned, it will say, hey, I didn't return. At which point I kill it. Basically, just go, no. So yeah, that's good fun. It's going well. It's going well, ladies and gentlemen. Feels good to make progress. I'm going to head off to bed. Not necessarily because I'm tired, but because I don't want to like stay up ridiculously late. Tomorrow is going to be another productive day because Laura's going to the cinema after work. So I'm coming home, cooking for myself, and then working, basically. So yeah, it's going to be good fun. very productive. It's been a very productive week so far this week. I'm very proud of myself. The disaster that was last week, I'm already over 8 hours of programming. I say already, that's by the end of Thursday, that's not actually great, by my normal standards. But tomorrow I should be able to bash off another solid 3 hours to hit me over 10 hours before the weekend, which is always nice. And last week I did like 3.5 hours. I think actually today, was it today? No, yesterday. I did more hours yesterday than I did last week. Slacked off last week. Okay, cool. I'm going to head off to bed, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching this video. Tomorrow's Friday, end of the week. Got stuff to do. I'll catch you later.